Okay, wonderful. So, thank you everyone to be here. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. And okay, today we are going into detail on the AI BI part on Databricks. So, it's kind of a different session maybe from the ones that you have seen because it will be kind of codeless. Okay, so for the Python boys and girls that are fan of coding, it will be kind of surprising because it's AI assisted, and so you will have a lot of prompt engineering. Okay, so it will be quite different from the typical one. So, l'altro. Okay. A little bit of myself. So yeah, I'm a solution architect in Databricks. I'm Giulio Melloni, and here with me there is Andrea, a solution architect too from Databricks. I've seen that I'm a solution architect in Databricks. Okay, no, it's not this because I'm a solution architect in entity data. And okay, so going into detail, why we are here, thanks to entity data and Databricks that have sponsored this PyCon. And yeah, a couple of words on entity data. We are the 5th company worldwide for IT services. So of course, a consultancy company. And as you can see from Databricks, this is a plot of the Forrester one. And you can see in the top right corner, Databricks, so is a leader in the data and AI part, especially for the lakehouse part. Okay, so lakehouse is the combination, as you can imagine from the word, the combination, the perfect combination between lake, so data lake, and house, so data warehouse part. So, what are we going to see? So, the overview of the data personas, a little brief on the history of data analysis, and so we are going into detail about this. A deep dive of Databricks dashboard. You may have seen maybe Tableau, sorry, Power BI, or Click, tool like this. Okay, this is a new one, so inside Databricks. And also, we will see together how to consume this data using the natural language. Okay, as you can see from the bottom, there is a line. Okay, so it will be codeless. Okay, I hope you will enjoy this part. So, that's the typical sentence that you may have heard a couple of times. Data is the new oil in 2025. So, okay, there is the gold, the platinum, and also the data, because data, from data you can have a lot of value inside the company. Okay, you can predict the sales, you can, I don't know, do everything. So, both on the machine learning part, in order to predict, have some analysis on the future part, but also on the descriptive part. So you can go also in the past and see, I don't know, using Power BI or Databricks dashboards, see what you have seen, what you have done, and so taking a look in the history in order to adapt your future. So as oil, data must be extracted, okay, and it's a important problem that we have nowadays because, yeah, we have thousands of rows of gigabytes of data, but it's quite difficult to get their value from this data, okay? So we have a lot of tools that can do this. Databricks is the most preferred one, I think, because it's combining a lot of things inside a one platform, okay? So it's the combination of the data engineering, the data analysis, and the machine learning part, all inside one platform. So thanks to this, you can, in an easy way, extract your data and gain some values, applying machine learning models, LLM models, and also, yeah, dashboards and data engineering stuff. Okay, so what is the main problem? Maybe this slide is a bit too much for our days because you can see a lot of roles in the data world, okay? A couple of years ago, maybe you will have only the data engineer, the data architect one, but now you can see a lot of different roles. So from the business side, also from the technical one. Okay, so for instance, there will be the orange one that are no, sorry, the light blue one that are the emerging one, the roles, but also the blue one are the business one. So it's kind of a complication that we have nowadays because we have too many people that takes a little part on this entire platform. Okay, it's quite quite difficult to have a communication between, for instance, a data coach, maybe sometimes, and an AI engineer. Okay, because there are two completely different roles. And so, what is the main problem? Usually, taking as an example, the data scientist and the data engineer write the code, but business analysts and data analysts do not. Okay, so a complication because also data analysts and business analysts understand the business needs. So one has the business see about the project and the problem, of course, and the other one, this, data science and data engineer, has the C on the tech part. And this is quite a problem because the communication between these two different groups can cause misunderstanding and a lot of problems. So, how does technology support this communication between these two different groups? So there is the evolution, a little brief of history, as I told you at the beginning, on the evolution of the data analysis part. So at the beginning, 1960, you can see the first data analysis tool. It is not so, but it was used also for the data analysis part, and it's the common prompt. Okay, it's where started all the evolution. Okay, and here you can query your data. You can insert for sure directly SQL query, Python query. Okay, and you can analyze your data. So after this, 20 years later, we have the first table. Okay, so the relational table. You may have seen, may have heard about SQL, PostgreSQL, so a lot of database. Okay, so that's the main part of the relational database. So store your data with AC properties, okay, classic ones. Later, there is in almost 1990, okay, the worldwide common used tool for AI, for BI part, that is Excel. So as you know, it's the common tool. So everywhere you go, you will see Excel used for everything. Okay, so it's quite uncommon to see some company that it's adopting, I don't know, Power BI, Databricks dashboard, but it's quite common to see a lot of Excel files. Okay. Later, in 2000, we have the dashboards. Okay, so Click, Tableau, as I've told you before. So here you can gain a lot of value from your data because you have also dynamic slicing about the data, and so it was a real game changer in the history. But still there is the problem. So AI, BI, the data analyst part and data engineer is kind of two different roles. Okay, so data analysts are doing this, and data engineer and data scientists are doing the back-end part, we would say. Okay, so now we are going to present this one, that is the solution about of Databricks, that is Genie Spaces. Okay, and basically it's combining the data with the AI, okay, using the natural language processing. So it's you will see that it's a completely different UI that is used with prompt engineering. Okay, but you can query your data directly with the, I don't know, English or Italian words, and so everyone can directly access the data without having any kind of problem of knowing the code, otherwise knowing the business context. Okay, so for instance, you will have you can give this to your AD of your company, and he can quickly ask to Genie, okay, we will see this. Okay, tell me what is the topmost salary in my company. Okay, so also with Genie, as you can see here, there are dashboards inside Databricks. So we have the problem of having a static KPI, maybe sometimes, that are evolving. And with Databricks, you have not this limitation, because you have evolving dashboards inside, and so you can use also AI to tune your KPI inside this. So it's kind of a real game changer in the BI build of the reports, because you can change it with a couple of lines of English or Italian text. Okay. And okay, so before leaving the ball to my colleague, we will see briefly 3 different types of AI assistance during this. So the SQL one, it's okay, the classic, you may have seen Copilot, GitHub Copilot. So it's an assistant that helps you do the code, maintain the code, bug fixing the code. We will focus on the AI BI dashboards, so the generative part, as you can see here, of dragging and dropping, okay, and also on AI BI Genie, okay, and we will have a little demo at the end if we have some time. And okay, leaving the ball to my colleague. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and okay, so I'm Andrea, and now we have a look a little bit more about dashboards inside Databricks. And okay, I mean, dashboard, how can you share, how do you access your dashboard? That's like same classic stuff. You can send an email, you can send a chat, you can embed your dashboard inside your web page, your intranet, your SharePoint. It's something, I think, it works, it's good, but as Giulio said, it's a dashboard. So you have predefined KPI. If you want to show the dashboard to different business users, they may have different questions. And they are going to make you crazy, because they will ask for 1,000 of filters, different colors, something that maybe it's hard to show. It's not easy. Maybe you have to do multiple dashboards. And this is just like classic dashboards inside Databricks. You can have the dashboard, you can have some filtering, and of course, again, you can extract some value from your data, but you have to prepare in advance for the business users. And of course, the dashboard always answers the same question, which may be good or maybe not that good. Of course, if you want to track your sale in a company, you always ask the business user is always asking the same question. How many pieces did I sell last year? And that's good. But what if he wants to ask any other question? That's where Genie comes in. So what's Genie? Genie is just the next step in the AI BI world and roadmap. So you have your data inside Databricks in the lakehouse. It's cheap data. It's very cheap to store and to query them. Perfect. You have your query. You have your data engineer doing the query. That's good. And you have your dashboard. So your data analyst created the dashboard. That's perfect. But now here comes Genie. So what's the difference here? Is that you can ask new question, and what you get after is that you get tabular and visual results directly after in the same page where you ask the question. And you also can provide feedbacks to Genie. So if a business user tries to ask some question and he sees some problem, he can highlight the things to you, maybe to your data engineering team, and after you can double check with him. Again, how do you access a Genie Space? It's very easy. You can just send a chat to your colleague, you send an email. It's very easy, we will see it. The interface is super simple, and this is what I'm talking about. So you see, you ask a question in natural language. It supports also Italian. It works with English, other languages as well. You ask a question, and Genie creates for you an answer. And what is nice is that you can also see the code behind this answer. So what happens is that we use large language model to create a query from the question. You have your data Unity catalog, which is our data catalog, so we know a lot about your data because there are description in the data, there are tags, and we analyze also the query that you did in the past, so we can pass all this information to the LLM to create the best query that it's possible to create. And of course, later you run the query directly in this place and you get the result. What is nice is also that you can do some quick action like visualize and create some visualization directly there. So for example, you ask Genie to visualize and it will provide to you, you remember here was the question, the total sale amount, and automatically it will create for you a chart. And with this chart you can share it, you can save it, you can keep it there later. You can also regenerate like the day after the code, maybe because you have new data, you want to see something if something changed. And I think this is very, very nice. So now we do some summary, and we can go to the demo. So I think it's best.
Yeah. So thank you, Andrew. And okay, just a quick summary about what we have seen quickly, because the demo is the most interesting part for sure. So, SQL editor, that's quite the common GitHub Copilot like. Okay, so AI Assistant Dev, it will be your daily Copilot. It will assist you in the daily routine, daily jobs. Okay, writing your code. Also for Bug Assistant, okay, so you will have a problem, you will ask to the SQL assistant. It's also working with Python for sure, okay, so SQL both and Python. And it will bug fix hopefully your code. And okay, the other important, okay, AI BI dashboard, we will see this in the demo. And as you can see, it's a common typical dashboard. So as Andrew said, slice dynamically in the portion, a lot of different plots. So gaining very powerful insights on your data. And also you can interact with your dashboard, inserting plots using the natural language process. And the final one, that is Genie Spaces. Okay, so again, using natural language, you will generate plots. Okay, then we can go to the demo.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes, I think so. Okay, perfect. So we talked a lot about Genie Room, and we're going to have a look at them now with you. So this is Databricks. I don't know if everyone has already seen Databricks. Do you know Databricks? I think so. This is like the interface of our data platform. We call it data platform just because we put everything in one place, so data engineer, data analyst, business user can interact and extract value from their data from one place, so that you don't have to stitch together a lot of services. And this is the Genie Room. So what I did here is that I put some data set inside the Genie Room. So you have to create it, and you put some tables inside. Directly, you choose the table with you just do drag and drop, and you select the table. Also, what you have is that you can add any instruction. So if you have like business-specific language, you can make the model know it, because usually there is like a slang inside a company where you call things in a typical way that it's very typical to your company. Of course, if you ask like ChatGPT and you don't provide any context, it will fail, because it's general intelligence. It doesn't know everything, and especially about your vertical and your company. So what you can do here is that you can add extraction. You can also add, if you want all your answer in Italian, for example, you can write it. And what also is nice is that you can provide some SQL queries and examples that should be used in some cases. So if you want to use to compute some rolling matrix, you can use some type of query. The example that I usually do is, if you want to count how many users do you have, like how many customers do you have in your company. If you ask the question to like 10 different people in your company, you will get 10 different answers, because people count things differently. So maybe someone counts some type of customer, some counts maybe some other type, some do the do all together. So what you can do is that you can create a query and you can pass it to the LLM, and the LLM will know how to use the query and will tell you that you used a query that it was already provided. So in this way, what you can do is that you prepare the query in advance, and all the company can use the same query to calculate some KPIs or to do some analytics. Okay, so here I just ask a question about to the model. This is a marketing campaign, so we put inside some fake data from a marketing campaign, and maybe you want to know which is the click-through rate, for example. And what is nice is that here you get some text telling you what the model did, but it's very interesting because you can see the tables that were used to query and to extract the data that you get here. So this is very important because it allows you to understand how the model created the query and what were the data used to provide you that result. Because of course, if you ask for marketing campaigns and you don't see the table campaigns, maybe there's a problem, you know. What is also nice is that you can also click on show code, and here what you get is the SQL that the assistant automatically generates for your user. Of course, the business user is not going to care about SQL, but you when you create the room, you are going to care and you want to double check it, of course. And okay, so what happens is that the LLM creates the code based on your answer, on your question, and after that, as you know, Databricks is capable of querying your data for you, and so in this way we execute the code without any problem on infrastructure, because we provided for you the infrastructure and the machine to run the code. So this is, you see, it can be also a very complex query. It can be something easy, and at the end of the day, the business user will get a table that answers his question. What is also nice is that you can have also here, directly here inside the same chat, you also get to see a chart showing you what you asked. And what is nice is that you can work with the chart directly there. So if you want to see something, you have a bar here, and maybe you want to change the color because you like it in another way. Okay, as always, when you do something live, you have a problem, but I think it's the internet connection, but let's try if it came back. But okay, and of course, so you have a bunch of possibility to personalize your chart. Usually it works, but you know. And let's go to the next one. So of course, what you can do is ask more questions in the same chat, and you can also add follow-up question. It's very important that you ask a question and you do some follow-up, because you want to check the assumption and the data that the models give you. Again, behind this there is a large language model. Everyone knows that it's not easy to make sure that it doesn't hallucinate, and there are still some problems, you know, with LLMs. Those problems are still there, but are mitigated because you can show the code generated, you can see the table that were used, and you can refine the question step by step. So here again, I ask for another question, for example, and what you get is again some other data, and here again you just get your chart. You can save the chart as an image, so you can just send it to your colleague if you want. But what is also nice is that you can also share the chat with some other people. So if a business user creates and asks some meaningful question, has some insights about your business, why it's not working the way it's supposed to be, or why is it going so good that year, that month, whatever, you can share it with some other people. And this is very nice, because in this way you don't duplicate data, you don't send around Excel files to your colleague via email, and after you don't remember where the Excel file is, when it was updated. So you see that it creates something way easier for you to work with. What is also nice is that you can monitor who and what is doing with the Genie room. So here I'm an admin user, I can see all the questions, and also it's possible to put a rating and to put a comment on the question. maybe I can go back. Here, you see, you have the directly there. You can say, okay, it's not good, and you can say fix it, or you can say it's good, it was good, or you can request a review. So maybe a business user try to do some query, and he finds a problem, and it will tell you, okay, I want to review this with my data engineering team. Maybe because the model did a wrong query, but also maybe because you have a problem in your data, because maybe there is some problem in your data pipeline, so you can review directly here, and you have a place where you can see everything. Other thing which is very nice, of course, I mean, you have history, of course, and you can also configure some, okay, here, some benchmark, which is nice. So what you can do is that you can put some, I will show to you, you can put some question, and you can also put the SQL statement that you expect the model to generate. So what we do after is that we take your question, we pass it to the model, we take the SQL code that is generated back, we execute your code and the code that the model generated, and we check the data if they are the same. So in this way, you can, if you create like 10, 12, 20 question, benchmarking question, you can evaluate how good is your model. Because it's always hard when you deploy something like this to say, okay, is it working? Are my users getting the right information? It's not easy to know because you should look at each answer, you know. And so in this way, you can have everything directly there, and you can run your benchmark whenever you want to, basically. So, and this is about our Genie solution. Maybe we can have a little bit of time to have a look at our dashboarding. Of course, this is more, you know, standard stuff. It's a dashboard. It works, I think, quite well with Databricks. And it's very easy to work with Databricks data because everything is in the same place. So you don't worry about like infrastructure, about permission, about networking, connectivity. Everything is managed from Databricks, and so you can create your dashboard and you can share them with your business user and so on. What is nice is that everyone logging inside here will execute the query as the user that see the dashboard. So if a user try to access a dashboard and, for example, doesn't have the permission to do some queries on some data set, he won't be able to do that because in Databricks we track and we execute all your SQL statement as with some permissions that can be set to the single user. So every user could see different things inside the dashboard based on the privileges that the user has. And the same things work with AI BI. And that it's what this works how? It's very easy. When you generate the code, we execute the code, but we execute the code with the permission that the user working with the Genie room. So what happens is that if you try to ask for like information or reserved information, you won't be able to query them. And this is not done by the LLM, so we don't just say to the LLM, don't do anything. We create the query, you will execute the query, and the query will fail because you won't be able to access the data. So, of course, what is also nice is that you can create a Genie room. So again, as I said to you before, you have to configure the Genie room, so you have to put the data, the tables that you want the Genie room to access, because you don't want to place a business user inside a Genie room that has all the data of your company, because it makes no sense. You have different personas. You want to create something more specific for a business user or some business user. You don't want to create something too complex. And what is nice is that when you create a dashboard, you can also, with some click, you can also create directly a Genie room based on the data that are in the dashboard. And that is very, very interesting, because in just a couple of clicks, you can create a Genie room that can help your business user, and it can also help you to reduce your workload, because in that way, the business user can try as much as he wants by himself. You don't have to create for him all the dashboard, all the queries, and all the charts that he think he may need. But sometimes you don't know beforehand. So I think we have some time for question. If you have any question, please.
If you want to also have more, 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's the
Okay,
10
good.
minutes for.
So yeah, just to sum up, maybe adding some tips. There will still be data analysts in the world, so it's not a replacement of a role, this, for sure. But this is an improvement, okay? Because, for instance, the AD of the CIO of your group, of your company, won't bother you anymore, asking you, okay, how many products have we sold this year? Okay, he can go directly here in Genie rooms. He can ask using English, Italian, whatever language you want, and he will get his information, okay, without offer a data analyst, a data engineer. Moreover, for a tech person, it's an improvement because for sure, you will have something to start with, okay? It won't be a white paper, as you can open Power BI and you will see the white paper that you will have to add visuals and bar plots, okay? This is an improvement because you will have something to start with, okay? So, okay, I got this data. Now, create me a dashboard, okay, or in Genie maybe give me some bar plots about this and this, okay? So it's a starting point. And just a remark on how is it done. So this is done thanks to the Unity catalog that is present in Databricks. So first of all, you have to have the data that are cleaned and also well formatted and well cataloged. Okay, so I mean, as you can see here, it's all based on Unity catalog in Databricks. So Genie also the dashboard is taking the value from what you are adding to the column name, to the comment. Also, you can create this with using the AI assistant of Databricks directly. So, for instance, if you name a column like I don't know, GPR with an acronym, it won't work so much because it's kind of a not comprehensible word. Okay, but if you insert some comment explaining why it's called column and campaign ID, campaign name, what is referring to, okay, this will improve for sure the Genie performance and the efficiency. And okay, that's all in order to sum up. So at the beginning we said, okay, why we can link and how we can link the data analyst to the data engineer and also the business people to the tech one. Okay, that's kind of a way to do this because business people can directly query your data and also the tech people will get something to start with, also on the BI part. Okay, thank you.
So thank you, Giulio and Andrea. We have a lot of questions. I hope that we have time to respond to every question. So the first one is, I need to describe table to use Gene. How much table I can use in Gene? How to observe the performance? So it's more than one, just in one question. Okay, so you don't have. It's not mandatory to put some comments in your table, but as Giulio said, you are sending what the LLM behind this. What does it know? It just knows what you provide to him, to the model. So what you should do is that you should put as much context as possible in your columns, in your comment of the table. Also here, maybe I show to you here. You can put some tags. You can put some primary keys. In this way, the model will better understand the relationship between your data and how to combine those tables in order to make your query work, Because if you don't provide enough context, it will work, but maybe it will fail.
And here we can go back to the question, how can I monitor my performances? What you can do is that, of course, you can set up a recurrent meeting with your business user to check how it's going. You can also, as I showed to you before, you can also work, let's go back to the Genie room. You can also have some benchmarking and do some, you see here, some benchmarks. So you, as I said, you write your question, you provide the SQL query that you expect the model to create, and after we do some benchmarks. So we try the question, we send the question to the model, and we see what happens. So if you can do this for like 20, 30 questions, and you see like 0% performance, there is a problem with your Genie room. If you see 100%, you can build up your confidence and go to the business users. After you open up the dashboard to a couple of business users, maybe you know the most skilled one, and the one that wants to try something new. If you get positive feedback from them, maybe you open up to other 10 users, and you go on in this way. Last question, I think, was how many tables I can put in. There is no like a hard limit, I think, but I mean, you try to build a Genie dashboard as an extension of a Genie space, as an extension of your dashboard. So you won't put like 1,000 charts in your dashboard because it makes no sense, it's too much. So I should advise you to do something like that. So just the data that you think are needed to answer your business user question.
Okay, thanks. The second question is, do the natural language question get processed in situ, or they get sent to a third-party API?
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
Yes. So, do the natural language question get processed in situ, that means there,
okay,
or they get sent to a third-party API?
No, we work with a third-party API. There is an LLM behind this, and but of course we send this data inside the region when you are, so you don't have to worry about data protection, data transit. So if you are in Europe, your data stays in Europe. If you are in the US, your data stays in the US. So that kind of part, it's not a problem for you. And also we manage the model behind it. So what we do is that centrally we change the model. We could change the model. We don't change the model every week or so because we change the answer. But it's something that we do on our side. So you don't have to worry about changing the model, keep up with new model. There is a new model every couple of weeks, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, always related to the model. Which model is behind the Gene? Can you choose your model?
No, you can't. As I said, it's we did this to make it easier for your team, your data engineering team, and your business user to work with. Now, if you open up like Perplexity, if you open up like GPT or Claude, you have a bunch of different models. You can't expect your business user to know if it's better to use GPT-4o or GPT 4.1 Nano. He doesn't know about that part, and he doesn't care. And so we try to do this as simple as possible, to be honest. So that's why you don't get to choose anything behind that.
Okay, so always a bit related to this. How can you add contextual information to the LLM? For instance, the production line name can be referred to in various ways. Is there a way to enable a RAG?
Okay, this is not a RAG. It can work in some way, but it's not supposed to give you some piece of information back. So of course, if you put in the instruction, to add the context, you can put something in the instruction. So if, for example, you have a table that you always refer to as an acronym, you can say, okay, this acronym means this table, you can put it there. And also, as I said, you have to work with your Unity catalog. Unity catalog is your best friend inside Databricks. You have to work with it. And these descriptions are sent intelligently from our side to the LLM model. So when you ask about the campaign table, the model will know that the campaign tables contain details about the marketing campaigns, for example. Of course, so in that way, when you talk about campaigns and you put the data campaigns inside a Genie room, the model will already know that you are talking about marketing campaign. Also, in the comment, you can put like multiple names to refer to that column. Of course, keep it simple, because if you go with 1,000 word for a comment, you know, you have problem with LLMs and lang and whatever, but that's like normal stuff.
Thank you. So another question is there just a model behind to do everything, or the process is splitted? For example, an LLM to create the SQL query and then another one to process the results and provide a human language response?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. We should ask the engineers behind that. For sure, there is an agentic infrastructure behind it. So we generate, like 900% sure that we generate the code with an LLM, which is very good at doing that. And maybe we create this part with another agent. So, of course, there are more agents behind this, but I don't know, because this is a service that we provide out of the box for you. And even if I knew, I couldn't share with you all the technicalities. So, but yeah, for sure, there will be some agent behind it.
Okay, and two last question. How can a company enable Genie inside Databricks? Is it free? And I will add also the other one, because actually is related. What is the price model of Databricks? Is Genie a feature to add and pay?
Okay, so the business model in Databricks is very simple. For whatever you do in Databricks, you basically just pay for the consumption. So you spin up a cluster to do some query, you pay for the consumption of that cluster. We don't have licensing, you don't have to add like feature to the product. Everything is there for you. If you open up Databricks, Genie Room is there for you to try. What you pay is that as you pay something to generate the code, of course, and also you pay to run this query, because, okay, we create the query, you pay a little bit to create this query, but of course you have to run the query. And so we provide for you a SQL warehouse endpoint, and you run the query against the endpoint, you get the result, we send the result back, and we provide to you the chart and the answer. But what you should be worried about is running the query, because if you run a query against a table which has terabyte of data, of course, and you want like to aggregate it, you will have to pay for that aggregation. But you don't have any external licensing or whatever. It's there for you. You can share it with as many users as you want. So if you want to do it with 1,000 business users, you can do that. It's not a problem. Of course, you will have like 1,000 queries, and you will pay for those queries. But that's the business model behind it.
Okay, the last question is, what guardrails you have from people making unrelated promotes?
Okay, so this is a model that works only against your data. If you ask how to cook a carbonara inside here, it's not going to answer to you, because it's not related to text. So there are some guardrails for sure. We can try it. How can I? Of course, now it's waiting. You can try. You can ask a question, and we'll tell you that it's not relevant. You see, this is not a question from a business user. We are talking about business campaigns. We are not talking about pasta. I'm not going to answer that. Said that, of course, it will work with your data, so you don't have all the problems about, like your GPT models that you ask question and you can get like unwanted results back, or racist language or whatever, because this is intelligence, AI intelligence on your data and only about your data. So it's not a chatbot that you can chat about the weather or whatever. It will just talk only about your data. And that's the main answer, yes.
Okay, thank you again, and we have time to change room now. Thank you.